right, all you crazy daredevils out there willing to jump headfirst into danger, welcome back to Under the Radar. And speaking of jumping headfirst into things, folks, I think it's time for us to check out which one of you crazy stunners is gonna try to literally jump over a hump to get over this middle of the week blues as we leap into another crazy edition of the wild world of stunts. And the first stunt that we have up, speaking of leaping and to continue with this leaping theme that I think we have for this week, comes from the Femme Fatales themselves, Vinewood on Fire, with their said stunt, Bike Slides Wagon. And during this said crazy stunt, it would feature Vinewood on Fire actually sliding across 10, or should I say 11 containers, skipping across with their Hakachu bike, only to do a sideways moonsault to land on both wheels like what, Maestro? Like a glove. And then to prove that they could do it again, they would do it again. Only with the landing this time with them landing on both wheels without the moonsault, like what, Maestro? Like a glove. Proving how crazy they really are to do a Pete Townsend slide on the top of 10 shipping containers in a rail yard. And the PR department, along with the Maestros, giving this stunt a perfect 10, and apparently the doctors are still wondering how it's done until the Maestro held the phone sideways and he's giving it a 10 too. Nice. And the next stunt that we have up comes from the stunner Marcus 56067 with their said stunt Project 71. And during this said crazy stunt that features him flying around in a laser jet underneath a whole bunch of bridges while an oppressor actually films this whole thing happening with him just, having one of those, hey buddy, how you doing? Looks on his face as he waves at the camera while he zips underneath the bridges, threading the needle like there's no tomorrow. And the fact that he's able to do this so calmly, he might give Vinewood on Fire a run for their money. If he does it upside down, probably with no hands on the steering wheel and able to corkscrew back up and fly upwards to do a moonsault back underneath the bridge. But nevertheless, still a very impressive stunt by Marcus, and we can't wait to see him do some more crazy aerial activist action in the near future. And the next stunt that we have up comes from the stunner God Blaze It with their said stunt Foken Sat. Well, according to the Maestro, he's holding up his thumb saying I said it correctly, but at the same time during this said crazy stunt which saw a firefighter getting blasted out of the sky by a men wearing a black suit, is this the Men in Black? Apparently according to the Maestro, they're the Men in Gray and like to be called that or else, because you'll end up like this firefighter getting blasted with an atomizer straight into the sky for the Man in Gray to look on with an impressive smile on his face, only to realize that the firefighter was able to shoot off a grenade at the last second for it to bounce off the ground, causing the concussion of the blast to knock the Man in Gray directly into a rock in brown, causing him to get knocked out cold, and for the firefighter to stand up, reload his grenade launcher, and make his way down the street, realizing that his fire truck has been blown up. And according to the doctors, that man in the gray suit, because he doesn't want to call him the Men in Gray just in case he gets that neuralizer to the eyes, apparently he suffered a separated shoulder and a fractured skull off of that rock that was in the sand. Really? I thought that was just a pile of sand. That really was a rock. Ooh. Well, hopefully he's got good medical insurance in that Men in Gray department that he works for. And the next stunt that we have up comes from the stunner Driver Car 6700 with their said stunt When You Just Spawn In. And yeah, during this stunt, which features the stunner that goes by the name of Jake, who was just sitting there waiting in front of his apartment for when his friend was gonna come and pick him up, only to not realize the time he was supposed to be there, and the guy driving the car that goes by the name of Mike, who was driving at 95 miles per hour thinking he was late picking up his friend, would realize that his friend would just spawn in right in front of him, and he would hit his best friend with a nasty Outback Steakhouse, Chili's, or any form of restaurant that would serve a good old juicy T-bone, and knock him right out of his shoes along with a lady that was right next to him, causing him to careen into the street along with the lady as well, for both of them to be motionless in the street, except for Jake, who would be shipped off to a hospital immediately, suffering 5 cracked ribs. And apparently, according to the doctors, they're asking me, how in the world did I know that? Well, look at the speed of that car. Look at the way that he was driving, and he T-boned into his ribs. You know those ribs are broken. So yeah, with his organs wrapped around his ribs like tin foil now, yeah, he's gonna be out for a while. And the lady, well, she suffered a concussion and a broken hip. Yeah, that's the worst she got from that. Oh, and according to the doctors, I'm forgetting something. A broken arm, a broken leg, a broken wrist, a broken hand. Why don't you just say she got Inspector Gadget and just leave it at that? And for those who never got that terminology, it's the fact that you end up in a full body cast and unable to move from head to toe. That's Inspector Gadget. And with that terminology perfectly described, folks, the last but not least stunt that we have up for this week comes from guess who with his said stunt, Superman. Now, we do remember this guy who goes by guess who, but we know it's the Joker, causing havoc and mayhem in the world of Los Santos, only this time Superman would be right there to stop him by throwing a car that was on fire with one of the people he apparently got rid of directly at the Joker, hitting him in the head for the car to slam into other cars in traffic. Yikes! And they would show this over and over again in an instant replay at least 10 times in a row to make sure we get it right. Why? We already saw he got hit in the head once. There's no need to show it 9 more times, man. That's just cruelty. And according to the doctors, after further analysis of the other 9 replays, they realized the Joker suffered from not only a severe skull fracture, but also a broken jaw during this as well. Yeah, your jaw would be broken too if a car get wind blasted into your face, and you get hit in the top and the bottom part of your skull. Yikes! Man, and I don't even think the Joker was doing anything wrong. I don't think he was the one who caused this. And apparently, according to the maestro and the note that was left behind with the security tape, it said, I did this. So I guess the Joker was behind this. But, you know, Superman didn't need to do all that for that. But besides that, folks, if you guys want to go ahead and check out any other crazy stunts of people trying to get themselves maimed for unnecessary fame, you can head on over to the socialclub.rockstargames page, only known as socialclub.rockstargames.com, and go right directly onto that video page to check out a whole bunch of crazy stunners that are most likely going to end up hospitalized for the weekend after pulling off crazy stunts to try to jump directly towards the weekend. Yeah, at least some of them were wearing a helmet, and according to the maestro, none of them were. Well, why does it say that on the cue card? I know there's no cue card, we're trying to cover up for our mistakes. But besides all that, folks, I think it's time for us to head back into that music once again, and when we return, we'll be back with another edition of the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Week, right after this. So don't touch that dial just yet, folks, and stay tuned.